Mr. Charles Nwali, thanks for coming back. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, please. I can hear you now. Okay. Okay. Please, can you introduce yourself to us briefly before we start today's conversation?
Okay. My name is Charles Nwali. I'm from Nigeria, Ebonyi State, Nigeria, precisely. I'm the founder of Future Space World. Future Space World is a kind of innovative platform where we share latest trend on space exploration globally, both in Africa, United States, and across the world. And we'll have a lot of audience across the world that are so much interested in space exploration.
Okay, all right, that's nice. Okay. About today's topic, that is the space race. Someone will be wondering what actually is the space race? What is the space race about?
All right, space race. Let us try to keep it as simple as possible. It just is a kind of competition between different space agencies to reach the low Earth orbit and beyond. But according to history, you understand, according to history, space race can be defined, if you should go by what Google has, it can be defined as a competition between two Cold War countries, that is the United States and the Soviet Union, back in the 20th century.
Okay. So it began back in the 20th century.
Yes, exactly.
Specifically between those two nations.
Yes, basically between the United States and the Soviet Union, and it started in 2nd August 1955. Okay, when the Soviet Union announced their plan to send artificial satellites into orbit, okay, because they are earlier, that is on 29 July 1955, when the United States announced their plan to send science satellite into low Earth orbit. So the Soviet Union, being another powerful nation at that time, announced their own space goals to send their own satellite into orbit. So that was when the competition started. So it got into orbit at the country, and the United States also responded within that same time frame.
Okay. Looking at these two countries which began the space race, what was actually their motive? What did they wanted to achieve with this race?
You know, the Cold War started immediately after the Second World War. So and the two most powerful nations at that time is the Soviet Union and the United States. So both of them were kind of competing to show who has more power than the other. And the United States, being a country that is bringing new innovation in tech and space, being an environment that has never been explored before. So the two countries were in a massive competition to see who will get there first, so that they can demonstrate their tech in the weightless environment of space. So it's just competition to demonstrate tech, you understand, show who has superiority over the other. So that was what led to the space race into orbit.
Oh, okay. And where was the first destination in space that they arrived at?
Okay, is the moon. Like and before the United States actually got to the moon, the Soviet Union, which is the biggest competition, they succeeded in sending the first woman into space in 1961. That is a Yuri Gagarin. They sent him into space in 1961, and the astronaut spent an hour and 40 minutes in orbit. So this milestone is kind of served as a challenge to the United States. So the United States also responded by sending Alien Shepard into space within that same time frame, between that same 1961. So after the two nations have succeeded in sending the first woman into orbit, they now started building tech that will take them to the moon. The Soviet Union, they were developing the N1 spacecraft, while the United States were developing the Saturn V5. You understand? Saturn V, yes, Saturn V spacecraft. So, but like, what actually happened in the Soviet Union space race was that in 1966, the chief engineer that was developing the Soviet Union N1 died. So the death of this engineer, it kind of delayed the progress. It delayed the progress of the tech. So the Soviet Union, they could not succeed in reaching the orbit again, in reaching the moon again with the N1 spacecraft. But the United States, being a country that is innovating, and they have Warren Brown as the chief engineer of their Saturn V5 spacecraft. So they were able to send the first woman to the moon in 1969.
Okay. All right, but why was the moon chosen? I mean, we have other planets like Mercury, like Venus, but why specifically the moon? What was on the moon that they wanted to discover, which is quite different and peculiar to the other celestial bodies?
Okay, you see, like why the moon was chosen was because of distance. Number one. Number two is because the moon has a lot to tell about the history of our planet, which is Earth. Number three, the tech that it has at that particular moment in time was it can be able to take humans to the moon. You understand? So they believe that they can actually do it since the moon is closer to Earth, and the tech at hand and the history of the moon with respect to the history of Earth. You understand? So these are the three primary reasons. Yes, there are other reasons why the moon was chosen, but these are the three primary reasons, especially distance. Because now, when you're talking about sending humans to something like Mars, you understand? Mars is very far. Even right now, despite our advancement in tech, it will take about 7 months or 8 months for us to arrive at Mars at the closest window. You understand? But the moon, it takes like 3 days or 4 days to get to the moon. So distance is the primary reason, and others follows.
Okay, but then after all this, after visiting the moon, taking the first human to the moon, what has been a significant achievement for these two nations? What at all did they achieve with this?
Okay, you see, like the moon landing actually opened a lot of doors. You understand, to both countries. Yeah, despite the Soviet Union not landing on the moon, you understand, they still learn a lot from their biggest competitor, which is the United States. You understand? So because like the space race as of the 20th century, it started in 1955 and ended in 1975. And why did it end? Because the Soviet Union, they could not make it to the moon. Despite spending so much in building the N1 spacecraft, they still could not succeed to even send a manned mission even to orbit. You understand? So the both nations, they did not actually United States actually landed on the moon, but the Soviet Union, they could not make it to the moon because of the lapses from their own side. So they actually learned a lot from that manned mission to the moon. In fact, what they learned as of that time is still being used till this day, and it is even motivating the current attempt to send humans to the moon.
Okay, all right. I think I have to ask this question briefly. Someone will want to know: is the Soviet Union the same as Russia, Roscosmos of Russia? Is it the same?
Yeah, you know, the Soviet Union it comprises of different nations, including Russia, Ukraine, and so many others. You understand?
Okay.
But when the Soviet Union was dissolved in 1990 or 19 just between 1980 and 1990 when the Soviet Union was dissolved. Every country went their separate ways. But why the Soviet Union is mostly described as Russia is because Russia has the largest how will I say, like the largest landmass, the largest political power. You understand, the most sophisticated tech in the Soviet era. So that is why Russia is kind of referred as the Soviet Union. But Russia, the Soviet Union is comprised of different nations. So that was why when the separated, each country went home with their own tech, with their own power, with their own ideology and stuff like that. But Russia is the largest among all the Soviet nations.
Okay. So how does this space race between US and the Soviet Union inspire scientists and engineers currently? How has it helped inspire them or help promote science, engineering, and other industries?
Okay, you see, in the 1960s, when the first human landed on the moon, the people living in that era, they actually doubted. You understand? They could not believe that humans will actually land on the moon. You understand? Based on the tech that they actually have at hand. But since the first human landed on the moon, and it kind of changed everything. It changed both the history of humanity, because this is the first time since the human race started about 200,000 years ago. That was the first time that human left this planet and landed on the surface of another celestial body. You understand? So scientists at that era, they actually learned a lot. They actually learned a lot. You understand? What we actually learned from the moon landing mission is uncountable. You understand? And in this era, it's kind of changing the way we are trying to explore space. Now, if you check most innovation that we have today, you see that it was inspired by the moon landing mission, especially the first moon landing. You understand? Now, someone like Elon Musk that is building tech, that is building spaceships that will take humans to Mars. Yeah, he was inspired by this moon landing mission. You understand? And you see a lot that he has done so far with his innovation. So the moon landing mission, it actually inspired a lot of people, and it's kind of changed a lot of industries across the world.
Okay. It changing a lot of industries across the world. I believe that there were some setbacks or drawbacks as far as the moon mission was concerned during the 80s. Can you tell us some of the challenges they encountered and how they were able to come back to those ones?
Yeah, like when during the Apollo moon landing mission, the astronaut that actually participated, they kind of experienced a lot of challenges. Number one, the way they ease themselves in space. You understand? You see, at that time, we have not built something we call a space toilet, which our astronauts use at the ISS now. You understand? So during that time, the astronauts, they kind of experienced a lot of challenges. You understand? Aside from using bathroom in space, you understand? They kind of when you are living Earth on spaceship, you understand? Like you kind of feel so much pressure, even though they were trained. They were trained to so they can be able to survive all type of circumstances, but still on that, they still experience a lot of challenges, especially the bedroom aspect of it. And when you are in weightless environment or space, you kind of counter with the gravity. You know, space has little or no gravity. So you living the weightless environment of Earth, you living Earth with the gravity that we have on Earth to fly to another celestial body, you kind of suffer a lot of challenges. Like when the first astronauts landed on the moon, the two astronauts, you understand, Neil Armstrong, you understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when he landed on the moon with his colleague, you understand, they're kind of trying to balance with the moon gravity. So if you could watch that first moon landing mission, you see that Neil Armstrong, he fell several times while he was trying to move around the surface of the moon. So it was not actually easy for them during that first moon landing mission. But at least with the tech that we have today, if we should go back to the moon or Mars, you see that astronauts they could be able to at least move around freely without much challenges, just like the Apollo astronauts encountered in the 1960s and 1970s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the main challenge was humans dealing with their environment in space.
Yeah.
That's it.
Handling the gravity of space, and you know the moon dust can be very very dangerous, and spacesuits built in the 1960s, you understand, it's kind of not give the astronauts all the protection that they need on the moon, but still on that they were still able to come back healthy, you understand. But assuming like there are little challenges, you understand, like assuming someone was able to sniff in the moon dust, that person will actually experience a lot of challenges when the person come back on Earth. And another big challenge that the moon landing astronauts encountered is with their spacecraft. You see, a few seconds before Neil Armstrong, you understand, if you're seconds before they landed on the surface of the moon, they're kind of trying to run out of fuel. You understand? So he manually controlled the spaceship and landed on the surface of the moon. So assuming he did not do that manually, the mission could have ended in a big disaster. But because of his experience, you understand, in flying spacecraft, and he was able to manually control it and land safely without any challenge. So I guess the tech embedded on their spaceship also kind of served as a challenge during the moon landing mission.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But is the space race still ongoing in our century? That's the 21st century. Are we still experiencing anything like space race?
Yeah, we are kind of experiencing space race in a different view now. Just like the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States, it's not that type of space race that we're experiencing now. You see, during that time, the world was kind of in Cold War era. You understand? So there's too much tension. So this nation will be threatening this nation with nuclear bomb. And if you could go back to 1945, you know what nuclear bomb did to Japan, a nation in Japan. So both nations they were scared. In fact, at that time they were building bunkers. You understand? So with response to the Cold War. So but right now the space race has taken a different dimension. It is now between private space agencies, and the way they are competing, they are competing for contracts. You understand? Who will land contracts? Who will develop a better space technology? You understand? Who will do this? Who will do that? So that is the type of space race that we have now. It's not the type of space race that we'll have in the 20th century. And the good news is that the type of space race that we have currently is actually good to space economy. Why did I say so? You see, when there's competition between different agencies, between different countries, you see, they will be inspired to build better facilities, better tech that will actually actually take human to space or moon or Mars. You understand? But if there is no competition, we will actually be slow. Like for instance, if you go back to the 20th century, after the Soviet Union were dissolved, NASA kind of slowed down with the way they are building facilities that will take them to space. But if you watch during the Soviet era, NASA they were kind of bringing different ideas every week. They're coming up with different ideas. For instance, let me take you back to the 1960s. Like in 1961, you understand when United States started to build this Saturn V rocket that actually took the first one to the moon. You see, they were very fast in the development process. In fact, it took them like about 4 years because they started in 1962. So it took them about 4 years for them to finish that massive rocket that took the first astronaut to the moon. Now imagine 4 years they were able to come up with something. So assuming and why did they achieve that within 4 years? It's because of competition. But when the Soviet Union ended, when the Soviet era ended, NASA they kind of slowed down. Yes, I know the moon landing mission is kind of it cost them a lot. So they don't want to go back to spending that much again. So that was why they focused on other era of the other angle of the economy. You understand? So, but competition is good, and it is actually helping to grow the space economy in this era.
Okay. So, audience, please, if you have a question, start writing your question in the chat box. If you want to talk, and you raise up your hand, we call you, and then you ask the question. Thank you. With that said, will you say that currently, looking at how the private industry is competing with the public industries in terms of the space sector, will you say it is actually good and it's boosting our economy in terms of the world economy? It's boosting it.
Yes. Yeah. Why I should say so? If you look at the United States, why I always use the United States as a case study is that they are currently the #1 in space. Why? Because their economy favors private space agencies. You understand? For instance, now if you look at NASA currently, NASA is now giving out contracts to private space agencies. Whereas, assuming it is in the 1960s, NASA could have been the one doing all these things themselves. But currently, they are now contracting SpaceX to send astronauts to the ISS. You understand? They are now contracting SpaceX to build Starship that will land that will land humans on the moon in 2026. They are now contracting private space sectors. So that means private space sectors, they're actually playing a massive role in the advancements of human in space. You understand? And the growth of space economy. Now, if you look at most billionaires, I'm talking of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos and co. See, most of they're investing billions of dollars in space in space tech. Now you're wondering why are these billionaires putting so much fund in space? It's because like they know that the future of money is not here on Earth, is in space. You understand? So that is why they're investing a lot, and they know that NASA is not getting to the era whereby they will just be giving out contracts. You understand? In fact, they will be outsourcing almost everything to private space sectors. You understand? And they are already doing that right now. Now, for example, you see, like the ISS will retire in 2030. You understand? And in 1998, when different countries come together to build this ISS, it cost $150 billion. You understand? So, and going back to building another space station by the government, you understand, by space agencies working under the government, it is that it will actually cost them a lot, you understand, in this era. So, but they are now looking at the future of space station, whereby private companies will build space stations, and government agencies will now be contracting, you understand, will now be sending their astronauts to conduct experiments in this orbiting lab in the future. So once the ISS retires in 2030, they will now depend on, for instance, as your space station, they are looking at putting their central model, or their primary model in space next year. You understand? And Jeff Bezos, his company, Blue Origin, is also partnering with other agencies to build Orbital Reef. Orbital Reef is another space station that will be in space, like it might be in space like 2007. There are also other companies attempting to build 1 or 2 space stations in space, and all these things are private companies. So their primary goal is to boost space economy in the 2030s, and to also win contracts from government-owned space agencies to space. But I'm certain that Africa will get. I'm sure that Africa will surely get there someday. Anything that has to do with space exploration, it costs a lot of funding. You understand? And it requires high level of expertise in like you need to contract professionals. You understand? Like what some private companies used to do, like this company, iSpace. iSpace is a Japanese private company. You understand? They kind of hired a US astronaut and made him the CEO of the company. Why? Because this astronaut, he has the knowledge to actually take the company's goals forward. Do you understand? So, like, if Africa should compete, if Africa should even attempt to compete with developed nations, we kind of need to partner with developed nations. We need to work with them. You understand? Like right now, some African countries, they're supposed to come together, bring the best brain, and send them to country like United States. They can go to a company like SpaceX, for instance, and start working there as intern. Or they can tell SpaceX to train these our astronauts for us. Do you understand? And they can actually pay SpaceX to do that. And when these people, when they are done with the training, when they come back, the government should fund them so that they can break what they learn into life. You see, when we are kind of investing in talent in Africa, we'll surely go far. For instance, look at a country like China. You see China sending putting astronauts in orbit, building space stations. You understand? You think that they actually wake up and start doing this themselves? No. China is smart. They kind of send their best brain into America to go and learn from them. America and China, they learn. America and Russia, they learn from them. Bring home with them. Come back home with the knowledge and develop China's space economy and China's space sector. I mean, if you look at China now, you see that they are kind of growing, and if care is not taken, they will compete with NASA in the nearby future. You understand? That doesn't mean that everything is rosy for them. No, everything is not rosy for China, but their resilient effort actually paid off because they find it worthy. They find it something that actually worth their investment and time. So that was why they send this group of astronauts, this group of scientists and engineers to go and learn from where space sector is already thriving. So if Africa should if Africa should compete, you understand? Like if we should compete, I'm not saying just sending unmanned spacecraft into orbit. I'm talking of complete in the sense of sending humans into space, like launching humans into space from African soil. We should be able to send the best talent to these developed nations, or we can bring home the knowledge. We can contrast some of these developed nations, bring some of their experts home to come and work with us. Yeah, I know it will actually cost a lot of funding. You understand? It will cost a lot of taxpayers' money, but it's actually worth it. Because if you watch with the, some people will say, what are we benefiting from space? This and that.
Yeah.
Why are we even going to space in the first place? But they forgot that most tech that we use on Earth, you understand, is actually powered from orbit. You understand? Like you see a lot of satellites in space. For instance, now Google Map could have not been possible without satellites. In fact, most social media that we use, they have their satellite in space. You understand? So without space exploration, we'll be far behind. You understand? We'll still be living like we are living in the 1940s. You understand? But space actually changed the whole thing. It changed the whole game. You can enter your car, open Google Map, take me to so and so location. You understand? So you can access large data files because some satellites are active in orbit, sending signals down to Earth and stuff like that. And if you watch with the idea of Starlink, you see, you can access the internet from the most remote location on Earth. Once you have the Starlink dish, you understand? And all this tech is powered from space. Now, like, let me say, 10 to 15 years ago, it's not possible for you to access internet from any place on Earth. But these days, you can drive to Sahara Desert, to the middle of Sahara Desert, bring out your Starlink, put it on top of your car or put it on the ground, face it to space. You connect to internet, you are already accessing the internet from any place on Earth. And all these things is being done from space. It's being powered by space. You understand? So space is very, very, very necessary. Africa, we can't fold our hand and act as if nothing is going on. Now look at India, for instance. You understand? In India, it's not quite long that when they started venturing into space, but they have succeeded. In fact, they are the first nation to ever land a spacecraft in the south pole in the south pole of the moon. You understand? No other nation has done it. Now, other nations, they were landing in the North Pole, but India is the first to land in the South Pole. You understand? So it's a kind of a very massive milestone for India. And India did not just start from nothing. They actually did like China. They, like, for instance, like there's one interview I was watching. This European astronaut, he was in India educating the young ones. European astronaut that has been on the moon. No, he has not been on the moon. He has been on the ISS for more than 6 months. He came to India. He was educating young ones. So I was inspired. Assuming Africans can do this. Like, I'm not saying that astronauts coming to educate our young people. Like, but what I'm saying is that we can bring in experts from these developed nations to come and change the African space industry. You understand? But currently, Africa, we're far. We are far. But I know we'll surely get there. For instance, now your company is actually bringing a lot of innovative idea, which I believe in the 2030s, your company should be able to start going to space.
Yeah.
So which is something that is innovating. So we see when private companies start to bring in innovative idea to Africa, we'll surely go for, like, I know we'll still need funding from the government. We still need to attract the government attention so that they can be able to give us contracts, you understand? So that at least we can progress, we can grow the space industry. But notwithstanding, we can still start from somewhere, which is what you guys have, which is what you guys are doing. You understand? You start from somewhere, and before you know, you grow. So, but I believe that Africa will actually change a lot. Will actually change a lot. Both South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, we all have our space agencies, government space agencies. But you see, they are kind of, if you go far, you see like you're not actually hearing much of them, because they are not actually doing much in terms of trying to send something into space from the surface of African soil. You understand? But I believe by 2030 we should be able to start sending human, or 2040. You understand? So we should be able to start sending humans to space from the surface of Africa.
All right. Okay. So ending up by 2040, latest 2040, Africa should be able to send humans into space. And my audience, please, if you have any question, kindly raise up your hand. You can ask your question. You can write your question so that we read it out for our guests to answer it accordingly. And we just have like 5 minutes for that. So if you know you have any question, you can raise up your hand, and you can also write it down for us to talk about it. Yeah, so we've spoken about a lot. We've spoken about Africa, the stance of Africa as far as space industry and the space race is concerned. Okay, so there is a question in, so we tackle that. Jasmine is asking, how do we plan to collaborate with governmental and private entities to advance our presence and capabilities in the African space industries? So she is trying to find out how the private and the government sectors will collaborate.
Okay, you see, in Africa, we're having so many challenges. You understand? We're having so many challenges, and that is why it appears like most governments that are not paying attention, you understand, to the space sector. But despite all the challenges that we're having in Africa, I'm sure that we will get to the era that we don't have any other choice than to start investing a lot in space. So now, if you're asking how we can collaborate with the government, it's actually quite difficult, because like some African countries, like I said, they actually have a lot going on. You understand? So, but notwithstanding, we can actually partner if more people start investing in private space sector. For instance, now if you go to America, SpaceX, it did not just start waiting to partner with the government. They just started there because Elon has a lot of money. You understand? And he was actually ready to to empty his bank on SpaceX even before SpaceX actually reach where they are today. They are at the verge of bankruptcy. Like they are about to become to fight for bankruptcy. Why? Because Elon is almost running out of money. So if we can do the same in Africa, that means some billionaires among us, they can actually invest in space sector. So I guess if someone that has billions of dollars decide to invest in space sector, and that space sector succeed, government can come in. Like it was only when SpaceX was succeeding, that was when American government stepped in to give them contracts. You understand? Because government don't like going to where there is failure, and you must do something to attract the government. No matter, even if the person you have in government is your father, you must actually show something, because the government will try to say, yes, we are trying to bring in taxpayers' money. And how are you going to spend this taxpayers' money? Because whatever you do, the people will talk, and the government that are currently in charge, they'll be looking forward to their next election, so that they will do something promising, so that the people can vote them in again. So if you are bringing in an idea, trying to win their heart or trying to win contract from the government, and maybe they are just saying that this idea might fail, the government will not give you any contract. So if we want to partner, if we want a close partnership between private space sectors in Africa, we need to start doing something that they are doing. Like we can start small. We can show them, yes, like if there's more funds, we can progress.
Right.
You understand? So and like I said, anything that has to do with flying to orbit, it requires a lot of funding. It requires a lot of funding. So even right now, as SpaceX is building their Starship. Starship is not bringing SpaceX any money. Yeah, so they are losing money. So each time SpaceX launches that Starship, they are losing them. Elon Musk is ready to succeed. So private space sectors can do more by investing more in creative stuff and otherwise.
Okay. Let the others to know that they are busy doing something, and you will catch them
Yeah,
to
like
invest.
even when we are doing something, I'm still scared that the government might come in. But despite that, we still have to do something. Even if the government don't want to come in, some foreign investors, can also become interested in Africa. You understand? So they might come in with their funds and we'll progress from there.
Sure. Okay. Mr. Charles, that's this hand is up. So, sir, please, you can call in and then ask your question. You can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi, hello, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, hello. Good evening.
Good evening. It's a pleasure you joining us for the show. I was asking, are we doing enough to be attractive for the space industry?
I didn't get you. What did you say?
I'm asking, are we doing enough to be very attractive so we become part of the space industry as a growing industry in Africa? Do you think we'll by 2040, as you predicted, we could be very attractive based on our growth?
If I should say, we are slow. Let's be true. Let's be factual. We are very, very slow. You understand? And it's absolutely not our fault. We are trying, but we are slow. And deal with exploring space, it requires a lot of funding. You understand? It's not something that one man can do. Even if one man can do it, that means that man has to be a billionaire like Elon Musk. But since it's not something that one man can do, it can require a group of investors. If group of investors comes together, you understand, with the right funding, so I believe we can actually do a lot. But anything that has to do with space, it requires a lot of funding. But despite that, let's not be discouraged, because if you look at India is trying to achieve the highest milestone as possible with the lowest funding. For instance, this their last moon landing, like uncrewed moon landing mission that they did in August 2023 this year. You see, the fund in which they used to land a probe on the moon was less than what Americans used to do in interstellar movie. Now you can imagine something that is practical is less than what people are putting in movie. So he said that India, if Africa needs to go and study how India are achieving this milestone with the lowest, with the least amount of money. You understand? Because like I said, okay, now imagine just to land a probe on the moon, it cost India nearly $70 million. You understand? So it actually requires a lot of funding. And I know our government can afford it. Our government can afford it, but it's not that they are more concentrated in other sectors. So, but like if we can bring in, if we can make space to become more attractive to government, that means Africa needs to have more private space in the space companies. More private space companies need to emerge, because when they emerge, there will be competitions. You understand? And once there's competitions, investors will be interested, because this is a thriving economy. Investors will be interested. You understand? So I believe once there are more private companies, no matter how little they are doing, there will be competition. And once investors start coming in with their money, we will grow from there. And another thing is the knowledge, which I've talked about before. We still have to send more people abroad to go and learn. We still have to send more Africans abroad to go and learn and come back. Or we'll bring those experts to Africa to come and educate us. You understand? We still have to work with them. We'll partner with them so that, because partnership is what, and if we can grow from there, I believe by 2040 we should be able to launch human from the surface of African soil.
Okay. Thank you, Charles. So basically, we are not doing it enough. I said now, it means we are not doing enough, but we need to do enough.
Okay, he said we are not doing
enough now.
Enough.
Okay, we are not doing enough.
So we need to study.
Yeah, I don't want to discourage the effort of creative people among us. You understand? I'm not trying to discredit the effort of Africans, innovative Africans. You know, we are very, very talented in this part of the world. You understand? So I don't want to discredit that. We're actually trying our best. You understand? We're actually trying our best, but we can still do more. You understand? And like I said, we can still do more by sending people abroad, which all these things require funding. It requires a lot of funding. So, but we can start from somewhere. We can start from somewhere. So, in fact, that was what actually inspired me to start my small company, Future Space World. You understand? I'm just trying to trying to motivate more people, more Africans, so that they'll become more interested. I think when someone is interested in space, and I talk more about the future of space exploration. If you check my page on Facebook, you see I post more about the future of space exploration. All this thing is just to inspire people, to inspire Africans, to inspire Americans, to inspire anybody on this earth. You understand? So that zeal, that fire, which the first Apollo astronauts ignited in each one of us, it will continue to burn. And when that motivation is there, you understand? When that motivation is there, even from nowhere, you see a lot of Africans doing, no matter how little. Like for instance, if you go to YouTube now, if you go to YouTube and search maybe like rocket launching or rocket testing or whatever, you see a lot of Americans. You understand? This rocket might not reach the orbit. You understand? But you see them doing something innovative, something practical. Something. So like if innovators can come together and actually do one or two things, we can start attracting more attention. You understand? Something physical, something that people can see and interact with, which is what I believe in. Something, if money comes, so you see, like there will be, and you see, someone can decide to fund, like just what pays the first time. He messaged me. He kind of bring an idea. He was like telling me, is there a way that we can capture more energy from the sun without, like, this doesn't have to require the solar panel. He was ready for the funding. If I can organize some group of scientists who can work together, so even if it costs $1 million, well, I interact with a lot of Americans on my page. You understand? So they will bring crazy idea. Tell you, guy, can you, based on what you write, can this thing be possible? Is there a way you can work together with some group of people? I would actually throw up the idea to some scientists that I know, and some of them they will not be coming up with something creative. So only me can't do it alone, and I don't want to take up a project that I know to end up in a disaster. Yeah, I know there's no harm in trying, but still on that, we can actually give it a shot and stuff.
Okay, sure. I think that's fine. I think on the basis I think this part of the world needs to start showing more concern in space. Without the concerns of the general populace and the government, I think some of the private space industries will probably be running wild goose chase. Would probably be in trouble, because I think the general populace are not too. I think they don't trust Africans to do that. I think they don't trust Africans to build spacecrafts and all that. So I think we have a big job to do when it comes to building the trust, because you probably will build a spacecraft from Ghana and then nobody will tell you you sit inside or something. Everyone is scared to sit in an African aeroplane or spacecraft. So I think we need to build the confidence in what we are doing. And otherwise, I think for 100 years, we'll still be lacking behind these the bigger nations. But yes, thank you for the lecture. It's very interesting and very important. We are looking forward to the space industry growing very well soon, probably the next 5-10 years in Africa. Once we're able to create the awareness for them and create the trust that if Galaxy should build a spacecraft, it can take somebody to even low Earth orbit. So we look forward to people trusting in us and getting us there.
Sure. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Charles, for your questions. Mr. Nwali. Yeah, please, can we have your last words, comments on this?
Okay. I just want to throw more light to what Mr. Charles said before he hung up. So, like what the other guy said, he was saying that Africans will not be trusted. Like our idea will not be trusted. But like I want to tell you no. Do you know why? Because like if we go back a few years ago, you see that like some Africans don't even think that we will build cars on African soil. Most Africans don't think we'll build cars, but today we have so many car companies. Like I'm saying, car companies building cars from scratch in Africa, in African soil. So I think Africans can be trusted when it comes to space, but it will take time. Yeah, I know it will take time for sure, but we'll surely get there. And the world, yeah, we can't say that the world will always look down on Africa. For instance, now, if you check our music industry, you understand? If you use our music industry, for example, you see that our music industry is thriving. Like if you go to America now, you'll be hearing so many African musicians. You'll be hearing so many of their names. So if you can thrive in some of these sectors, yeah, no, I can't compare music industry to space. Yeah, but I'm just trying to tell you that it will get to a time, because in the early 2000s, it's only few African musicians that are popular in America, which I don't even think they are even that popular. But these days, in 2023, we have so many African musicians that are popular. If they host events in Europe, so many people will come out. So that is how our African automobile industry grew from nothing. So, but I believe if some of these industries can do well, especially the automobile industry, that Africans can trust their life and go and buy an African vehicle and be driving. So if we can trust our African vehicles, we will get to a stage whereby people will trust African spaceship, African spacecraft and stuff like that. So it will actually take time, but we will surely get there. Just like the Americans, we will surely get there. It will take time.
Great. Okay. Just like the Americans, we will surely get there.
Of course, for sure.
So, sir, please, can we have your final words before we call this?
Now, like I say, we all have to start creating awareness so that we can, because as it stands now, so many Africans are not interested in space. But so many Africans don't even have the idea of space. Like if I'm talking with some of my friends, they'll be confused. Like they'll be like, what do you do for a living? I'll tell them I talk about space. They'll be like, bro, what is space and stuff like that? Like so many people don't even know about space. They don't know about space exploration. They don't know anything about space. So we can start creating awareness, no matter how little, so that more people will become more interested. You understand? So I believe when more people are interested, more people want to start up a particular service. You understand? A particular service that will service African space economy in the future. You understand? So we can create this awareness, which the best way is through media. So no matter how little, these days you can get in front of your camera and say something meaningful, and someone will watch and interact with you. Yeah, you can, based on the fact that Africa is your target, you can try to keep your knowledge to the least, how I say, like, just try to make it as simple as possible. You understand? So when you make your information as simple as possible, you can give out this information, and people will, with time, they will start to interact. You understand? Like there's a time that there's an it's not it's, yeah it's an eclipse. It's one to occur. So I kind of talked about it, and so many people, like, so many people in my comment section were like, bro, what are you talking about? What do you mean by this? That talking all sorts of nonsense, and they're all Africans. But if I post it on my Facebook page, for instance, Americans, they will interact well with me. The only Americans that don't interact well with me are the flat earthers. You know, you have so many flat earthers on almost every space page. So you surely have them. So for instance, now, if you have a tribing page on Facebook and you talk about astronomy, you will have so many flat earthers telling you space is fake. We are living in flat earth. We are living in dome, this and that. You understand? But you don't have to. You have to ignore some of those people, because they are all is their belief. So you still have to ignore them, man. So I believe we can make more people to become more interested in space by passing information. You understand? By creating awareness. You understand? So you can start, tell your friends. You understand? Now your friends, if they want to become interested, they can also start expanding the knowledge. And before you know it, little by little, Africans will become more interested in space. And so many people will start bringing new ideas. You understand? They will look at what the Americans have done, and they will try to find a way who can replicate that in African soil. So I believe that is a very good way we can get started and grow.
Okay. Talking about we like your conclusion, but about future space. I mean, your company that you have started with the kids. Can you tell us some of your achievements and what you intend to do going forward?
Okay, like basically my company for now is based on media, based on publicity. You understand? I'm just trying to, like I say, share the idea of space exploration, make more people to become aware, and kind of share some innovative future ideas. You understand? Which I learned from some futurists. You understand? So I'm actually doing a lot with some of my workers. We're actually doing a lot. You understand? So but our major goal for now is trying to grow the media range. You understand? In space alone. So we are trying to
Creating the awareness.
the news, create the awareness. We'll get a terrible, we'll get practical. You understand?
Okay.
We'll get innovative, we'll do one or two stuff. But for now, we are still based on trying to make more people, especially Africans, to become aware of space exploration. Because I believe when more people are interested in the space sector, we'll actually have more innovation, more ideas. So we'll actually grow from there and scale from there.
All right. Okay. Mr. Charles, that's it. Please, your hand is still up. Do you have something to say?
What do you say?
Oh, yeah, I think he said everything. No? I think everything is well said. We also look forward to Mr. Charles selling some of our projects out on his platform, our space elevator and our parachute project as well. Hopefully, we'll see more of Galaxy's works on his page and his platform.
Okay, well, you guys are really doing a lot. That is absolutely nice. So, like, how far with your media team? I hope you guys are very, very active. But like growing that idea is still very, very important. Like I say, that like I do
Yeah,
see your times. I follow him on Facebook. He posts one or two
yeah.
things. Yeah, which is cool. So like,
So Facebook, YouTube,
yeah,
LinkedIn, we are
okay,
there and then we are posting. So
okay. Well, no,
anyone
that
can
is cool.
actually follow and learn and learn.
That is cool. At least we can actually start from somewhere and
Yeah,
grow from there. That is the most important thing.
sure. Um,
Yeah.
so thank you so much, sir, for joining us for today's meeting. We really
Oh,
appreciate your presence and your submission on today's program. Thank you.
thank you very much. I
And
appreciate you.
thank you, audience, for joining us for today's program. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for learning one or two things from here. Hope to see you on our next Zoom meeting. Bye,
Okay, I'll
everyone.
be very much available. All right, yeah, take care of yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.